Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Rainmakers Roundup. I am your host, Mark Iorio. I've got today with me Liz Herman, and Liz is the financial planner, financial advisor at Sherpa Financial over in Telford, PA. Bit of a hike.
Yes, that's. I have clients everywhere from Western New Jersey down to Delaware, out to California. So
good for you.
This is not a problem. So
And
thank you
and
for
it's
having me.
it's we got a little weather going on out there today, and you made the trek, so I
Oh, yeah.
appreciate you being
Thank
here. It's
you.
great to listen. It's way better to be in person than it is on Zoom. It's,
Absolutely.
right.
Yes,
We get to see
absolutely.
each other face to face, and it's much better that way.
Yep.
So, tell the audience a little bit about Sherpa, and then we'll get into what makes you different and some other subjects that we are near and dear to us.
All right.
Yeah.
So the name of my company is Sherpa Financial, and if, for some people that may not know that, what's a Sherpa? A Sherpa is the mountain guide that takes you to the top of Mount Everest, and that's what I feel is my calling, is to help people get from where they are to where they ultimately want to be in their finances and in their financial health. And so I've been in the financial services industry my entire career, started in retail banking, and now I'm doing financial planning and wealth advisory. Just a little bit about myself. I came from a single parent household. We basically had nothing. I met my husband. When we first started out, we were living in a boarding home. And we have raised ourselves up to the point where we are very, very lucky and blessed to have what we have. But what my experience has given to me is the realization that it's hard, but you can do it, and everyone can do it. And I'm on a mission to make sure that I can give people hope that they'll be able to get the financial success that they want, and also, and especially for women who are making financial decisions on their own, that they don't have to be unprepared and unaware, and they can be unafraid to move forward and get the financial life that they want.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because that's something that is near and dear to us. That having women and any young person, but let's say especially women, right? Understand, the benefits of planning for their financial future. Wealth accumulation, wealth building, and saving. Funds that they make, earnings that they make, so that they can become financially, just say, independent at some point in their lives. Why do you believe, Liz, that there's this stigma, or women have to overcome some of these obstacles more so than men?
It starts at birth, Mark. Actually, as females in our culture, we are raised to be nurturers, teachers, caregivers, and just like the rest of society has now come to the realization, like, oh, we need to bring our girls into STEM fields. Part of that is finance. And so when I talk to a lot of women, they either are petrified because they really they haven't had a good background in math or finance skills, and they are just afraid to make moves. And one of the things that I will say is, people say, oh, women are less risky than men. They don't like to take as much as risk. They are much better at thinking about and calculating risk than men tend to be. And I hate to be gender specific, but that's pretty much what the studies have found out. And so it's really building confidence is what we need to do to bring women into the world of successful financial management.
Yeah. So when you approach let's say anyone really, with regard to beginning to plan for their financial future, what are the kinds of things that you go through, and what do you ask them? And you could tell, Liz, that you're passionate about this because this is something you've been doing your entire career. It's not like, okay, Liz Herman, all of a sudden, you were in another field and then you decided to become a financial planner like a lot of folks do.
Yeah, no.
Right? This is something you love. You're passionate about it. You care about people. You care about their financial well-being, and you want to see them succeed.
Yeah.
So when you first start with someone, what are the things you go through?
So one thing that sets me apart from a lot of other financial advisors is I have an accreditation. I'm an accredited behavioral finance professional. So part of the tools that I bring to the table when I'm speaking with a new client or an existing client is we're not only talking about, well, what assets do you have? What are your goals? What are, but we're also talking about what's your earliest memory around money? What has been your experience in moving through the financial world? How does that make you feel? We're talking about how what are your values and how money and life can mess with them. And we're going to try and find out how we can help you live your values and use your money in a way that's enriching to you and to the people that you love. So we spend as much talking about all of those behavioral and values conversations as we do about numbers.
See, and that process, that uniqueness for Sherpa and what you do, Liz, is so different because it helps put people at ease. It's not just about the dollars and cents. It's not about just investment. It's about the way you feel, your personal constitution, who you are as a human being, and the values that you carry forward and what you believe in, and then have all of that as part of your planning future. Because oftentimes, right, people just kind of look at it like, okay, well, I don't really know what to invest in.
Right.
But now you have a guidance system.
And a lot of times they're kind of nebulous about their goals. So through those conversations, we also pinpoint, well, I thought maybe I wanted to retire when I was 52, but thinking about it now, I really love what I'm doing, and maybe what I really want to do is design my day around some work, some play, or my year, and we help design that. That's the wonderful part of planning. And one of the things that I find with women is that so many of them may have had an interaction with a financial planner through either parents or a significant other, and if they're by them, they've lost that significant other one way or another, or maybe they're single and we're sitting there talking and they're like, finally, somebody gets me.
Yeah. Because
this is what is missing a lot of times in the financial services industry. We like to talk about returns and asset mix and all of this other stuff. But what I'm really keying in on is what is going to bring you joy, and let's build your plan around that.
Yeah, that is different. What made, when you went through the behavioral certification process, what was the turning point in your life that said, I need to do this because I don't want to be like everyone else out there?
I've actually been involved and interested in psychology for a very long time. One of the things, I was going to go to college as a psych major. That didn't happen. My husband and I, we got married. So we basically put each other through school. So I never got that, I never got to get the 4-year psychology degree, but I have the desire, and I've always had the lifelong interest, and just knowing how their minds work.
Yeah.
And there's there's an incredibly interesting field of study called behavioral finance, and I kind of nerd out on that, but it's all about how people don't necessarily always make rational financial decisions.
True.
Because we have our lizard brain. We have the fight or flight or or play dead, and so we have to recognize that those are parts of us that automatically take over, but don't necessarily serve us as well when we're making financial decisions.
Of course, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I am sure that you can share with us hundreds, maybe dozens of case studies. But think about someone who's come to you and has struggled a little bit. Hopefully, it's a female, and she came to you and said, "Liz, I'm dealing with, say a life crisis or something like that, and you've really helped her or her family, really thrive."
So I have a client who her husband passed away 2.5 years ago, and he took care of everything. And so for 2 years, she was afraid to do anything. She paid the bills. She did what she had to do to stay in her home, but I had one small account for her, and we just kept in touch. And something that I was increasingly getting the feeling of is that she was not only petrified to do anything because she just didn't know, but she was extremely wary because she's worried that somebody's going to take advantage of her. And that's very common, especially with women who are making financial decisions on their own. They're really scared that somebody's going to take me over. And and I can't say that I blame them because this industry has had a track record of doing things like that.
Absolutely. Yep.
So number one, that is my number one goal, is to build that trust before we do much of anything, before I take someone and under my wing. I want to build that trust. So what we've done is, through a number of different steps, and we take baby steps, because you can't, if you've got somebody that's scared to make any moves, you can't just like wholesale go, "Oh, well, I know you need to do this, 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 and this, and in 6 months we'll be there." No, it's been a process, and throughout that process, what I've been able to do is not just move her into a better financial situation, but help her make more confident financial decisions on her own. And she'll come to me and say, "Oh, guess what? I did this and I saved myself X amount of dollars." And I'm like, "You go, girl."
Oh, that's great.
That's what I live for.
That's great. Liz, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
We're going to have to take a quick break.
All right.
All right. Folks, we will be right back. Do not go away. We've got more with Liz Herman. This is great stuff. I think all of you need to pay attention to this, because it's not just about women. It's about just understanding who you are from your heart and your soul, and what that means for your financial future. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bet.
Have you heard? Join me, Heather Darling, weekly for a different spin on politics, business, law, and other key issues you will not want to miss, right here on RVN TV.
Hi, my name is Janice Kovach, Mayor for the town of Clinton and new host of My Town. Do you ever wonder how something takes place in your town? Do you have questions about how to find out what's happening? Questions about the budget? We've got the answers for you. I'm going to be talking to government officials and elected officials, getting those questions answered. Catch us every Tuesday and Friday at 1:30 on RVN Television.
Welcome. I'm Barry Lefkowitz. I'm your host on New Perspectives on RVN TV. I come to you each week with issues and topics that you will generally find in the news. And if you're looking to be able to get caught up and know what's going on, then New Perspectives is the show for you on RVN TV. Look forward to having you.
Welcome back to Rainmakers Roundup. I am your host, Mark Iorio. I've got Liz Herman with me today, and Liz is a more than a financial advisor. It's almost, we have to change your title, I think, because it's Sherpa Financial is really great if you understand what a Sherpa is. Mm-hmm. But this whole idea of behavioral finance is really cool. It's sort of, it's peeling back the onion a little bit, Liz, because it's really not about the dollars. Well, it is eventually about the dollars and cents, but it's about the human being. It's about the person and the way they interact with money. And all of us have, early encounters with money when we're kids, whether it's our parents, whether it's us when you married your husband at a young, probably a young age, right? And you didn't have anything. You had nothing.
Right.
Right? And it shapes who you are.
Absolutely. And what I like to tell people is that when I meet with them, I carry a judgment-free zone. I don't care where you've been, what you've done, what crazy, stupid money mistakes you made in the past. We're going to move forward. Let's just take what's happened, learn our lessons if we need to, and then we'll just make what's happened to us work for us in the future. And then we will we'll make the best of what you have and guide you to where you want to go. That's the other thing that I find a lot of women have very different value outcomes, where men are all about, I just need this nest egg. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I just need this pot of money. That's all I'm living for. Women are more value driven. So what they want is to be able to take care of their kids, or they want to give to charity or something like that. So my plans will revolve around that. But something that I find we talk about in not just women who are making financial decisions on their own, but families as well, is this caregiving dilemma that we're facing in our country right now. As we know, our population's getting older, and what happens with women is that if they're taking time out of the workforce to care for parents, or even for their children, for every year that they are out of the workforce not making money, their whole lifetime income falls by about 4% each year that they're out.
Yeah.
This is a huge concern later in life, plus the fact that if you are taking care of an older person, an older loved one, you can pretty much bet that even if they're not living with you, you're just going over to mom's house, just making sure she's okay, doing whatever, between driving to doctor's visits, picking up stuff at the drugstore, getting food if she needs it, that kind of stuff. You're spending at least $7,000, and if you count a year, and if you count lost productivity time from work, you're at $10,000 a year. I will build that into my plan because it's not negotiable that I'm not taking care of mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then let's make sure that we account for that as we build a plan.
Yeah. And I think all too often people, it's interesting that you say that, typically men look at the nest egg. I mean, that's me. That's my sort of mentality. I want the nest egg, and my wife doesn't look at it that way. She's like, let's make sure that we're okay, and we travel the way we want to travel, and worry about the future, in the future.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me is this whole idea of caregiving, and the idea that, or the thought that, as sometimes the female, the woman, takes care of the parents, right? And then you're taking that income, that revenue away from your own income, right? Your own savings in many regards. And I don't think people understand the ramifications of that.
No, and what's really interesting is right now 39% of college graduates are women versus 36%, or which is a lot, and 36 of of men are actually getting the degree once they get in college. So between the two of them, that's 60%. 40% are dropping out. That's not great. That's another problem in and of itself. And there are 12 million women business owners in the United States that employ 10 million people.
Wow.
We need to make those businesses strong. And if they're taking time out of their workforce and they're not able to commit fully the way they want to their business, that's taking money out of their pockets.
Of course.
And we need to find a way to support them or bridge those gaps. So that's something that is extremely important to me as well.
Well, you're bringing up something really, really interesting too, because a lot of times the folks that are going to college do not necessarily want to go to college, number one, or number two, they're in an environment where they don't really belong or they don't want to be in, and they end up with all this debt at the end of that episode, and they're not happy, they're not fulfilled, they're doing things that they don't want to do, and they're saddled with all this debt. So when you get to someone younger, right, and you'll say to them, who are you really when you're envisioning your best self, right? Who are you, and what do you want to get out of life? In other words, what's your personal constitution? Right? Maybe they want to work with their hands. Maybe they want to be in financial planning, and they don't need to really go to college for that.
Yeah. And what's really sad is when you have you have someone with, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of student loan debt, and they can't start a life.
Right.
We can't, I can't move out of my parents' home because I'm trying to save money to put a down payment on a house.
Sure.
And I can't get there because I'm stuck paying these student loans. Now that's a whole structural problem that starts with why, again, like you're saying, why does everybody need to go to college? We don't.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with, if you are not sure what you want to do, 2 years of community college, and then
exactly.
Nobody cares where you spent your first 2 years if you can transfer the credits to to a good school.
Yeah.
And when we look at the Ivy League colleges or the elite colleges where their acceptance rate is 1 or 2%, or maybe 4%. That some of the less restrictive ones. Why do you want to be such a little fish in such a competitive big pond where you can go to a smaller school that's going to nurture you a little bit more, give you as many contacts, if not more,
and all the tools you need.
And and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Would you, if you think back to your career, would you do anything different?
I would have loved to have gotten that psychology degree, although I have to say, because unless you're going to get unless you're going to get a master's in psychology, a 4-year degree in psychology isn't going to pay the bills for you.
Sure.
And this is the problem. So finding a company that can help you pay for college is huge.
Yeah.
I have to put a plug in. I'm sorry, I'm going to do
Go ahead. A
big commercial for Starbucks, who has a program for, if you work in one of their stores, they have a way that you can go to college on their dime and get a degree. I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but you again, your advice on youngsters who are not sure about college. Community college is great.
Oh, absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with Montgomery County Community College, Bucks County Community College, Mercer County Community College, any of these local colleges that will feed into a 4-year school. Instead of spending $40,000 or $50,000 a year, you spend $4 or $5.
And and I have another client who we're actually going through this right now. They're sending their son to, they live in Pennsylvania, they're sending their son to a private school in California, this was their choice. Again, they're living their values, so okay. what's nice is that the college is giving them some significant benefit, some significant scholarships. He's going to have some loans, and then but the parents are going to have to, to contribute. So we're in the process of planning that out right now. I will tell you that I am not a huge fan of Parent Plus loans. If I can do anything to avoid having my client take out one of those, that's what I will do. Even though the interest rate for a private loan may be higher, the Parent Plus loans, they are the parent's responsibility. There's no way you can change that over to the kid.
Yeah.
And those will dog you forever. I can't tell you what the average student loan balance for people 65 and older is like over $200,000.
Oh
I have a
my.
client like this.
Oh my God.
How does that happen?
Oh my.
It happens because
they co-sign, right?
Because they took out these Parent Plus loans.
Yeah.
If you co-sign, technically after 10 years you can put it into the child's name, but they have all of these other student loans, the Parent Plus loans, and these other types of loans that they're stuck with long after their kids have
that's horrible,
graduated.
yeah.
It's another huge problem.
It's not where you want to go at 65 years old, right?
No.
This has been wonderful. Thank you for all of this advice and what you're doing, especially for women in financial world. I appreciate it very much, and I know the audience does. And to me, what you're doing is inspiring to others. It inspires others to understand what they need to do and the future that they need to build, Liz. Tell us about who inspires you. What inspires you?
What inspires me are the women that I work with who are out there on their own. Again, most of the time they're very unsure about what they want to do. They know where they want to go, but they don't know how to get there. And we work together for a little bit, but every day they are out there trying to make their lives better, make their communities better, and they inspire me every single day.
Well, great. Thank you so much for coming in. I really do appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much for
You're
having
welcome.
me. Appreciate it.
If you don't mind, look into that camera and tell everyone how to get in touch with you and Sherpa.
Okay, so my website is yoursherpas.com, and you can find me on Facebook at Liz Herman Sherpa. I'm also on Threads, and real quick plug, I'm partnering with a few different business owners. On September 12th at the Franconia Heritage Restaurant, we're having an event called Wealth, Wellness, Wisdom, and Work, an event to empower a solid future. Where it's a totally educational event that is going to bring topics near and dear to people's hearts to learn about how to be more financially successful, but also to navigate all the changes as we move into our later years to build wellness and wisdom throughout your lifetime. So stay tuned for more information on that.
Great. Thanks, Liz.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. All right, folks, that is a wrap for us. Have a wonderful week. Don't forget to look up Liz. She's on Facebook, on Threads, and certainly on LinkedIn. So Your Sherpa.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's great. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Have a great week, everyone.